A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another book review, book look, comic book look. I don't know what you'd call this one, so cheers for that. But today I'm going to look at the Invincible Iron Man issue 144. This came out in, I believe, 1981. And the reason I'm doing this is just because a very good friend of mine gifted me this copy of an old comic book. I really wanted to get the artist to sign it, but didn't have the chance. Unfortunately, they had come over here to South Korea, but didn't get the opportunity to get them to sign it. So I'm going to actually go through this and show you all how fucking awesome old comic books were back in the day. This one, while I wasn't a huge Iron Man fan when I was growing up, I was more of an X-Men kind of nerd, so to speak. This was just an absolutely fantastic read. It's going to be full of spoilers. And all of you out there that are too young to understand how fantastic it was to get these issues and to read them, you're going to find out in just a minute. So let's get right into the next episode of...
Read a fucking book. 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 People.
So here we have a copy of the Invincible Iron Man 144 from March, I believe, of 1981, possibly. Now, this was given to me as a gift from a very good friend of mine who runs a board game cafe here in Seoul, South Korea. I will put a link down in the description of this video for those of you that are interested in going and checking it out. It is awesome. I've been there. Absolutely fantastic place. So, yeah, now, it's been a long time since I've read like a single comic. Usually I get omnibuses or entire story collections and things like that just because I just want to read the whole thing. But I thought I'd check this one out just because it is the Invincible Iron Man, and it's such an old comic. You can see it's a little ratty, but you don't really care about that kind of a thing. The artist, Bob Layton, recently came to South Korea, did a signing, fantastic. I didn't get a chance to go to it, unfortunately, but them's are the breaks. So I'm going to say straight off the bat that growing up, Iron Man, I said this in the intro, Iron Man, not my favorite comic book character. But after the MCU came out, you know, the character started to kind of grow on me a bit, like it did with a lot of people, I would assume. So you can see here, immediately on the cover, we have the classic Iron Man armor and then the kind of original grey suit that you see at the beginning of the film. So we open it up and immediately, like, this is so nostalgic. You get this kind of this comic book advertisement. And we get this Sunfall, which seems to be a throwaway ending to probably the previous comic book story, where a space station is falling to Earth, and Iron Man has to team up with this character, the Centurion, in order to stop it from happening. The Centurion kind of gives his energy to Iron Man and allows him to move the falling space station off target so it won't hit a city, but it will land in an area where there will be no casualties. Again, this nostalgic advertisement, super gifts and gimmicks, so cool. So yeah, and then we have Iron Man being invited to attend a benefit for the company that created this space station. And Iron Man basically says, Tony Stark says, shove it up your ass. Then we get into the actual story, Apocalypse Then. So Iron Man is in a plane that is about to crash. It's being piloted by his good friend Rhodey, played more famously by Don Cheadle in the films, taking the War Machine armor, of course. At this point, Rhodey doesn't know that Tony Stark and Iron Man are two separate, like are the same person. He thinks they're two separate entities. Iron Man is Tony Stark's bodyguard. So Tony Stark, as the plane is going down, has a flashback to the first time he met Rhodey, and then we get the backstory where he's in Vietnam. He's hit with by a Viet Cong landmine. As he's a prisoner, he constructs a suit of armor that kind of keeps him, keeps his heart from not stopping. Very similar to the origin that we saw in the Iron Man film in the MCU. Then we see Rhodey. His helicopter has been shot down, and Iron Man, after escaping the Viet Cong, comes and sees him. He wants to use the helicopter's batteries to kind of recharge the suit. He gets Rhodey's trust because the Viet Cong ambush him, and they kind of fight them off. So nostalgic with these. So Iron Man recharges his suit, and they discover that there's a sniper who is trying to kind of hit them. He takes out the sniper by throwing an entire tree at them. He also has these like remagnetized things that's going on at this point. He carries Rhodey to get back to the American base. They discover a stream that seems to be flowing out of a tree. This is kind of camouflage, and they find this whole Viet Cong kind of war camp with weapons and a helicopter. So they hijack everything, get the helicopter. We have an ad for Dazzler, one of my favorite X-Men characters of all time, but I digress. They manage to escape in the helicopter after Iron Man blows up the munitions, but the Iron Man suit is weighing the helicopter down, so he uses the magnetic stuff to kind of force it forward. The Americans, seeing this Viet Cong helicopter, try to shoot it down, but then they talk about baseball, and the Americans are like, holy shit, that's not the Vietnamese guys, they're actually Americans. And they let it land, and Iron Man is kind of a little bit despondent about these weapons and whatnot. We get this really weird advertisement for, I guess, cookies or something with the Human Torch. That was kind of weird. And then Tony Stark meets up with Rhodey again and basically offers him a job if he ever needs it. And Rhodey's like, I'll have to think about it. And then it's just reminiscing about stuff. And then Tony Stark comes back to his mindset with the plane that Rhodey has now gotten back under control. And everything is good again. And then we have some fantastic advertisements there. So, The Invincible Iron Man 144. As a comic, fucking fantastic. As an Iron Man story, fucking fantastic. As a trip down nostalgia lane, you know what I'm going to say, fucking fantastic. I miss getting these issues, you know, month after month. You have to wait 1 month to find out where the story goes. I do miss that. Now, being the person that I am and being impatient, I honestly prefer buying them in omnibus form and just reading them kind of all in one hit. But there is something to be said for these single issues, and not only the single issues, because there are still comic book stores out there that you can get the single issues from, and you can go down there and blah 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 blah. But the stores that sell or collect the back issues, where people have the opportunity to go back and find these comics that they loved as kids, or to complete a collection, or to find an issue in a run that they are missing, these things matter. Now, granted, you can read all of this stuff online. Like, I used to subscribe to the Marvel, like the Marvel comics, where you could read them online. And I was reading the run of the Incredible Hulk, another character that I didn't really enjoy when I was growing up, but I've come to kind of embrace and love. You can do that if you want to, but there is something so magical and so fucking special about holding these issues in your hands and opening them and smelling them. Yes, I don't care what anyone says. New comics, new books, old comics, they have a smell. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is a powerful scent that just brings back, for me, so many damn memories. So I absolutely loved reading, and this was the first time reading this issue. I mean, we all kind of know Iron Man's backstory after watching the movie, which, don't get me wrong, was fucking fantastic. And, we know that it was set in a different time and whatever. You've got to make it relevant to the movie has to be relevant to the audience itself. But seeing how he met Rhodey for the first time, and knowing that Rhodey becomes War Machine, and also, spoiler alert, I'll give you 5 seconds to shut off the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knowing that Rhodey dies in the Civil War II event, after like he and Captain Marvel kind of get together. I don't know, this was just really poignant for me, and thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. I don't know what else to say. I know if you're not interested in comics, you're not going to go out there and buy single issues. If you are interested in comics, you're already out there buying single issues. But just experience it, even if it's just one time. Just experience taking the comic book in your hands and flicking through it, opening it up, looking at the ridiculous advertisements. It's just magical. That's all I'm going to say about it. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. But most importantly, stay safe, have a fantastic rest of your day, and please read a fucking comic book, people.